The pressure is on in the farmyards. The miserable March weather held up the muck spreading season. Now the manure pits are full to bursting and the farmers will want to make the most of the fine weather. Anything that has legs or wheels is shuttling between the yard and the fields. Get this valuable fertilizer onto the land is the order of the day.
Liquid manure smells bad, as our noses are quick to tell us. Now scientists have discovered that liquid manure is also causing a stink in the forests. In 1999, the Lotte hurricane blew down this wood. Not a single tree was left standing. Scientists at the Institute for Applied Plant Biology had been monitoring the nutrient content of 150 trees here over a number of years until Lotte interrupted the experiment. But why did the hurricane bring down these trees here while in other places the forest survived?
The most important finding we have made is that there is a clear connection between rising acidity levels in the soil and storm damage. The more acidic the ground is, the more likely it was that the trees would be blown down.
At 110 locations across Switzerland, scientists are analysing the subsoil under some 11,000 trees. The fundamental question for a healthy forest is, how acidic is the soil? pH measurements at various depths over 18 years show that the floors of the forests are no longer in the same state that they once were.
Above all, the soil in the lowlands and in the foothills of the Alps has become more acidic. A pH value of 4.2 sets the alarm bells ringing for scientists, for this is where the nutritional balance goes out of control.
This is confirmed in the seepage water. The more acidic the soil, the lower the levels of the plant nutrients, potassium, magnesium and calcium will be. Conversely, the level of aluminium rises and the roots are slowly poisoned. So why is the soil becoming more acidic?
The reason for the rising acidity levels in the soil are the high nitrogen deposits. In the Swiss lowlands, these are between 30 and 40% per hectare and year. That's twice as much as the forest soil can take in. That's why the levels of nitrogen in the leaves and needles of the trees are also rising, while the levels of potassium, for example, are falling. The trees, the forests, are suffering more and more from an imbalance of nutrients.
The highest levels of acidity are found in the subsoil beneath the trees. The small roots, which absorb water and nutrients, don't grow properly and eventually die off. The tree loses stability and becomes easy prey for gales.
A third of the nitrogen pollution in the Swiss soil comes from industry and vehicle engines in the form of oxides of nitrogen, and 2/3 from agriculture, mainly in the form of ammonia. The spreading of liquid manure using a so-called deflector plate attached to a pressure tank not only flings ammonia all over the field. Some of the liquid manure and ammonia never reaches the soil, but is deposited on plants. Here the substance escapes into the air, falling to the ground again over the cooler forests.
Inspection by Robert Kaufmann, Head of Agricultural Engineering at the Federal Agricultural Research Station at the farm of Hans-Heinrich Büchi. He's found that a lot of nitrogen in agriculture is lost into the atmosphere.
We know now that of the nitrogen that is produced when farming livestock, around 1/3 escapes into the air, mainly in the form of ammonia.
A cow drinks 70 litres of water a day. Of that, 50 litres are excreted in the form of urea. So part of the ammonia comes from the farmyard itself. The nitrogen output of a cow is the same as that of 11 cars. Exhaust pipes, though, lead the field in the production of other pollutants.
As farmer Hans-Heinrich Büchi is firmly of the opinion that ammonia belongs in the fields and not in the forests, he's taken action. He's changed his muck-spreading system. Gone is the conventional pressure tank with its deflector plate. Now he has a so-called drag hose system to spread the valuable farm manure on his crop fields and meadows.
The main advantage is that the liquid manure goes exactly where it should in a precise quantity, not on the plants but on the soil, accurately spread to the nearest centimetre. And there are other advantages: less soil compaction. At Büchi's farm, the pressure tank, which weighs several tons, is positioned at the edge of the field, with wide ties distributing its weight. Not only that, the level of ammonia wastage is falling rapidly.
Investigations show that by spreading the liquid manure using a drag hose spreader, the wastage, depending on the situation, is 30 to 60%, on average around half of the level when using the conventional procedure.